Hi guys, welcome to today's Curiosity Club. We've got a great show for you today. So we've got the whole team with us. We've got Janice, Matt, Fred, and Joy, and myself, Tess, and we'll be carrying on a little bit with what we covered last time. So we're going to be doing more cool audio stuff with Matt, and we're going to be talking a little bit more about interesting facts about space and spacesuits with Janice. And we'll also be doing more fun wildlife segments with Fred. So sit tight.
Curiosity!
And welcome back to Team Curiosity. So in the last show, we were talking about how we could use this program called Audacity to change the sounds of things. Let's talk today about how we can change how music sounds, okay? So let me just, we've got all these buttons up here that say mute. Now, if you're listening on headphones, if I put this to the left here, you'll hear Joy's voice come out of your left speaker. Just while I show you that quickly.
If it's free and doesn't cost any money, that's really good.
Okay, it sounds like it's coming from your left side. Now, if you're just listening on your phone, that might not be so easy. It might actually just sound a bit quieter, to be honest.
If it's free
and that's it coming out the other side. But I'll mute that just now. We've got this button that says mute, so it just means that everything that is here will be quiet. So I'll just put that there and. Okay, so we've got this song here. Now this is, in order to avoid copyright, you know, me getting into trouble from the copyright police, I'm going to play, this is a tune from my band, okay? So it goes a little bit like this. Okay, cool. So that's our song. It's called Octopus. Okay. I can't really remember why we called it that. I think we just thought it sounded cool. So let's say I've been given this song to make sound better. Okay. Now, first thing that I would maybe do is I can actually make it louder. Okay. So if I click on this button that says Normalize, and so what normalizing does, it takes the loudest bit of the song and just makes it the loudest thing. So I'll show you what that means. If I do -1, so you see how it gets bigger? Did you see that? It becomes bigger, it becomes larger. So when we listen to it this time, it will sound a little bit louder. Okay, now, sometimes you can trick people into thinking something sounds better just by making it a bit louder. Okay, now, one of the tools you'd use most commonly in a recording studio is called an EQ or an equalizer, okay? And it can change the sound of anything, really. So let's have a look at this graphic EQ here. So what I'll do is I will push up 500 hertz. And let's just have a listen to how, what sort of difference that makes to the, I'm going to do it to the whole song actually. So I'll take my graphic EQ again. So 500 hertz is pushed. So let's just have a preview of that. Oh, just okay, and I don't know if you can hear that. It sounds a bit almost like it's boxy. So I will turn down everything around it as well. It sounds a bit strange when you do one frequency and like that. So let's just pull some of those other frequencies down. Okay, it should sound a bit different now. I don't know if you can hear that. Maybe it sounds almost like, I don't know if you've ever done this, but maybe if you have like a song on your phone and then you put like your phone into like a bucket or something like that. That's what it sounds like to me. So let's just change that back. Let's see if we can change it in a different way. You get different types of EQs. So you get filters. So let's apply this kind of filter here. So if I do, oops, I'm going to take out all the bassiness of it. Okay, so if I pull this guy down here, this might sound even more like it's, you know, in a box. Okay. Right. Okay, now maybe this time you can hear that it doesn't sound as warm anymore. It sounds almost like it's cold, which is a kind of weird way to describe it. It's not got that boominess. Okay, I'm going to do it so this time we've only got the boominess. So let me do this back up here. Okay, so this time we're only going to hear the boominess. You might not, if you're listening to this on your phone, you might not even be able to hear this, to be honest, because it's so low. Okay, you might even notice that the song it's become smaller, so that means it's going to sound quieter. Okay, so what did it sound like there? Did you hear that, Janice?
Yeah, it sounds kind of muffled, like I'm hearing it coming from the other room.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good way to describe it. So yeah, you can use that to make things just sound a wee bit nicer. So sometimes what people might like to do is, now if you just do it a wee bit, it'll sound better than if you do big things. So I'll put up the high frequencies a little bit, just a wee bit. Okay. So it should just sound a wee bit brighter now. So actually on my headphones, it's almost like it's a bit harsh. It's a bit like nails scraping down a blackboard now. You know that sound? Okay, so that's us looked at how to use an equalizer on our sounds. Okay, and we can use it to make things sound boomy, or we can make things sound pretty tinny as well. Okay, okay, so that is part 2 of my audio editing. In part 3, we'll talk a wee bit about the equipment that you can use. So this might be maybe more suitable for some of the older viewers. Maybe if you're, wanting to start looking into becoming a DJ, we'll start looking at some of that sort of stuff as well. Okay, so thanks very much, and I'll see you in the next show.
Curiosity!
Hello. All right, it's me again. Back. I'm not stood at the same spot. Let's go and have a look let's go and have a look. What can we do today? Oh, there's someone coming. He's got a big bat. I'm going this way. Now, we had a look at the pond last week. So we won't go back there. We don't want to repeat, do we? Oh, there's a nice pop-up there. I hope you can't read that one. Oh, let's have a look here. Now, can you see the different colours? That's one way you can identify the different. That's one way you should identify the plants with. There's a few books out there saying identify plants with colour. And this one, there's some interesting stuff going on about this plant. You can't eat it or anything, and it can actually poison cows if, when they collect the hay up and make those big to feed them over the winter. Well, sometimes this gets mixed in, and it's called ragweed. And wort is an old name for useful plant. Now, I've just spotted a spider with a kill. So let's have a look at some gruesome. I'll just get my bearings. There we go.
All right. Okay. What we're looking at here, Fred? What kind of spider is that? Looks.
This is a spider and a fly. That is it's called an 8-legged spider.
Ah, one of them.
And if I just focus, yeah, they're quite rare. I can't see the way the background's really clear, but can you see it's got a huge fly? The top bit the top bit is the spider, and it's facing down, and the bottom bit is the fly facing up. So they're head to head. God knows what it's like if you zoom in loads. I'm going to put my hand in and try and focus on my hand. Well, it changed all the colours as well. Hang on, I'll zoom out a bit.
If you tap on your screen where the thing is, does that help?
I'd have to have 3 hands for that. Hang on. No, I've tried tapping on the screen, and zoom takes over the camera functions.
Oh, I see. Oh, I can still kind of get a feel for what's going on, I think. One of those, it looks like, is it quite a big spider, Fred?
No, look at my fingers next door to it. Hang on, my fingers are just there.
All right, okay, yeah.
Can you see my fingers?
Yeah.
And I haven't got big hands. Well, big enough. See if you can get me fingerprints.
Mm-hmm.
And no 3D printing them. I've seen
Oh.
those detectives. There we go. Anyway, you can see that that's not a vegetarian, is it, or a vegan spider?
No, probably not. I don't think you get vegan spiders, do you?
No, you can't. And that's the thing. Oh, look, the fly's escaping.
Great escape.
Flipping heck, we've got, wow.
Oh, aye.
Now, what's happening now? What's Shelob's ancestor doing? And if you look at the spider's legs, it's all controlled like a JCB.
Mm-hmm.
Those legs are full of liquid. And when they put pressure on the liquid, the legs open. And when they relax, there's little springy tendons. And they make the spider curl up. That's why when you see dead spiders, they're normally curled up.
Oh, right, okay.
Because all the springs have been relaxed in the legs. But when they're full of, I mean, they've got no veins or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Got no veins. They're just big liquid, and they move it around.
So
I think it's got 2. I think it's having a feast.
Right. Okay. Oh, yeah, I can kind of see that actually. Do spiders have skeletons, Fred? I know some insects. I know spiders aren't insects, but I know that some insects have an exoskeleton.
They're called exo, exactly. Exo, like exotic. Exo means a skeleton without.
Mm-hmm.
An endoskeleton is what we've got, which is a skeleton within.
Ah.
So their skeletons act like armor plating as well. Well, you can see most spiders that you'll see are be female as well.
Is that so? Are the female spiders more likely to be the ones catching food?
Well, they're more likely the ones to be around because a lot of spiders eat the males after they've finished with them. A lot of the females consume the male.
I see.
And by the way, I was for anyone into using nature to continue their own opinions. All raptor birds, all eagles and hawks and falcons, all of them, the female is always bigger than the male.
Right, yeah. I think with a lot of birds, the more colourful one tends to be the male, like ducks, like the mallards tend to be more colourful.
Oh, yeah, mallard.
Mm-hmm.
That's a Scouse joke. If you listen to Frankie Goes to Hollywood, then it's in there. But this plant is actually a ragweed, it's called, and you can make dye from it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to make your clothes different colour.
Right.
But that's all been in, and the old dyes tend to not be used much. And when they are used, they tend to make them more expensive.
Right.
And you can get purple dye from a type of snail. And in the Roman times, the emperors had purple stripes along the bottom of their giant cloaks because it took thousands of snails to make this. It's called Tyrian purple.
Oh.
And that's really interesting because now you just click your fingers and you've got purple anything. You go down the shops, $1.99, you've got purple anything. But before industrial civilization and plastics and oil, before we discovered that, Purple was a really difficult colour to get out of nature.
Yeah.
But ragwort, the closer you look, by the way, the closer you look at plants, the more you'll see. And you'll see, if you look behind each little flower, there's a little black bit which helps identify it. I don't know if you can see that in the rain. It's coming down nicely. There we go. And there's a type of ragwort called Oxford ragwort, Oxford. And basically, this is probably it. And it was called Oxford ragwort because in the Victorian times, when all of the wealthy folk with lots of spare time and lots of money could travel and discover loads of new things and bring them back and show off to the other people who were collecting things, they call them explorers.
Right.
And there was biologists and all that kind of stuff, scientists, and they went around. But the thing that's not very scientific is that if you discovered a new type of plant or a new mushroom or a new animal, you could name it yourself.
Right.
And it's still valid today. If you went out now and found a new type of flower or mushroom and nobody else had found it, then you could name it.
Is there anything named after you, Fred?
No. I don't think that's appropriate. I wouldn't want myself named after anything. I've not got that big an ego.
All right. Okay. Well, so
I think it's terrible.
If you discovered
the
something,
plant should speak for itself.
Right. Okay. So if you discovered something, then what would you call it? You wouldn't bother.
I'd see what it was like and find a name that fitted. I wouldn't put my name on it, because you get some silly ones, but you also get some good ones as well. But I think it's much like, let's have a look down here. It's much like, let me think. It seems like it's popular to think that we can control everything when we can't. And controlling stuff, naming it and putting it into categories and labeling it all, it's not controlling it. That's just cataloging it. It's like saying the map. A map is not the land. It's a record of the land. And as you can see here, Jaggies. Yeah, Jaggies. Now see that leaf? Yeah, it does loads of different things. It protects the ground from the rain and lets it leak off the end of the leaves at a regular rate, like a watering can. It can feed animals. It can feed caterpillars. It can shelter different things like eggs underneath. It can sting you. It can actually heal you with the stings. Like arthritis, it can help with arthritis if the stings get in. When you get older and your joints ache, well, it can help with that. It's got other uses for humans as well, and you can eat it.
Yeah, I've heard
amazing.
of some people having nettle soup.
And yeah, I've eaten loads of nettle soup. But the thing is, nobody can make one. There's more going on in that leaf than in everything that humans have ever made, including the internet and these phones. And once this is finished with, it just dies and it goes back to the forest. Everything alive does that. And if it didn't, it would be a pretty crowded place. But that's part of the cycles. Everything goes back and is feeds something else. And then that something else in its turn feeds something else. And that's the circle of life, not Simba. So there we go. That's just one leaf. And if you can imagine, nobody can make that. It's a solar panel as well, remember. It changes the light. It reacts with the water and turns it into sugars, which feeds the plants. And if you go to supermarket, what do they put first in the supermarket as you walk in?
All the fruit and veg.
Lovely fresh, come on in, lovely fresh. Yep, and there's a reason for that. It's to put us off to run in and go to the back and get the square sausage.
And on that, Fred, that might be all we have for this week's session. Are you going to come back next
Oh, one
week?
more for next week. I found something interesting. Are you ready for this Zoom? Whoa.
Whoa, what are we looking
It's
at
a
here?
it's a humongous fungus among us. You'll see the size of it. There's my finger.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like someone's jabbed a brown flying saucer into the tree. But I'll talk about fungi next time, or the time after that.
Is that because you're
You'll have to tune in and find out.
Is that because you're a fun guy?
What?
Yeah, you know, a fun guy.
Oh.
Okay, do you want to?
There isn't much room for jokes like that.
Curiosity. Okay, so we've been learning a little bit about astronauts and space. It's been very interesting, and I think you maybe know that there have been astronauts landed on the moon, and they were able to walk on the moon. But what I thought was really, really interesting is that the footprints that they've left on the moon will probably be there for about 100 million years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think the reason for that is that the moon has no atmosphere. So that means that there's no wind or water that can like blow or push the footprints away. So that means that along with their footprints and the spacecraft prints and the rover prints, they're all going to stay there exactly as they were for 100 million years. That's so interesting.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. And I wonder, you know, space travel has come on so much since that first landing on the moon. In 100 million years' time, I wonder if we'll be taking like holidays to the moon.
Oh, yeah.
So we
Don't
would
want to forget your sun cream.
yeah. So we would be adding to the footprints. But yeah, so I mean, I find the atmosphere in space so fascinating. You know, because there's no wind, there's no atmosphere. It also means that there is no sound. It's completely silent. So, you know, astronauts, they use radios to stay in touch and communicate while they're in space, because radio waves can still be sent and received. But actually because there's no atmosphere, there's no means that sound can travel. It has no medium to travel and be heard. So yeah, I just think that's really, really interesting. So if you're up in the moon, it's going to be completely silent. There's going to be no wind. Very interesting. And maybe in 100 million years' time, we'll know a lot more about space, because there's so much unknown. Like, nobody actually knows how many stars there are in space. The sheer size of it, it's just impossible to accurately predict. So right now, scientists, they reckon that there's between 200 and 400 billion stars.
Wow.
And possibly billions of galaxies. So they're completely uncountable. But yeah, maybe we'll learn a bit more as space exploration grows over the years. Yeah, so I have a fun joke actually about astronauts. So what's an astronaut's favourite key on the keyboard?
I don't know. What's an astronaut's favourite key on the keyboard?
The spacebar.
You know, I used to say to people that I wanted to be an astronaut.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my friend said I had high hopes.
Well, do you know how astronauts serve their dinner?
How do they serve their dinner?
On flying saucers. Okay. But yeah, I think it's been really fun learning about space and astronauts, and it would be great to learn more. There's so much more that you can know about it. So have some fun and look into it online and watch some videos, and definitely have a look at the astronauts YouTube channel where you can actually see what they're doing in space.
Definitely. Sounds cool.
Cool. Thanks everybody, enjoy, and I hope you've had fun learning. Bye.